It was initially called Shepherd's Hill, Golconda in Telugu. According to legend, a shepherd boy came across an idol on this rocky hill. The information was conveyed to the ruling Kakatiya king, who constructed a mud fort around this holy spot. After 200 years, Bahmani rulers took possession of the fort. Under the Bahmani Sultanate, Golconda slowly rose to prominence. Sultan Quli Qutb ul Mulk, who ruled from 1487 to 1543, sent by the Bahmanids as a governor at Golconda, established the city as the seat of his government around 1501. We will now go for a tour of Golconda Fort. Mr. Probodh Saha will be our guide and the videographer is Miss Soulvi Rai.
Hello, welcome everyone. I will be showing you this medieval fort called Golconda Fort. It is in Hyderabad. Lot of history, lot of interesting stories, and there are different places that are of interest, that are of excitement, that are of beauty at different parts of this fort that I will be taking you through. Welcome, come with me. Thank you. Let me share an interesting fact over here. This fort is built on a semi-arid terrain. Not much of water around. So if you go to North India, the Mughal forts, you will see there are some channel of water which is dug around the fort to fend off the enemies to approach it easily. But this place geographically or climatic condition is such that we cannot have water here. So that's why it is built with a very unique thought when they constructed it. So that is something I am going to share you here. Do you see any entrance over here? As such, looks like it's a continued wall of the fort, right? But this is actually the main entrance, and we'll show you the gate. It's a hidden gate, hidden entrance for this fort, so that enemy gets confused where to start from. So follow me as I enter the fort. Here is a gate which is still invisible. See, such a huge fort. As we go inside, you will realize it's such a huge fort. However, look at the entrance. It was almost hidden, as you have seen. It was almost hidden, and once you enter also, you see so small piece of space in front of the main gate. It's very small space in front of the main gate. There also there is a purpose, there is a reason. Usually in those ancient era, whenever you want to break the main gate, you needed elephants to run and ram the gate. Or they used to take big wooden log and run from a distance to ram the gate to break it. However, this is so narrow that an elephant can probably barely stand. There is not enough space for an elephant to run or for the soldiers to run with a wooden log. That makes it quite invincible because outsiders cannot penetrate the gate when it is closed. Of course, you can see the gate which is covered with iron and very heavy. More importantly, at the top of the gate, if you see, there are certain holes and there is a window of sort. So there used to be soldiers upstairs who would be boiling oil or water or stones and iron balls they will be throwing on the enemies. So it's not a very convenient situation to stand over here and attempting to break the gate. So that's how they made it so invincible that there had been 2 occasions where enemies surrounded the fort for months together but could not penetrate. When Aurangzeb attacked this place, He said soldiers had to wait for months together. And even in the last attack, where the rulers of this fort fallen to that attack from the Aurangzeb's army, they had to actually come inside through treachery. They did actually bribe one of the soldiers who opened the gate at night. That's why they could come in. Nobody could actually break and come inside the fort. That's very interesting history of this place. Actually the highest point of Hyderabad, Secunderabad city, so that from there the information can be announced through the people across the fort to all the soldiers and the important people. I welcome you to this part of the fort, which is closed today or closed usually now, and guides would also not show you today if you come, but I have visited it earlier and I know this is the place where all the royal family people, after their death, before going to get buried, they would take some ritualistic bath where their body would be made with different types of water, hot water, cold water, rose water, etc. So this is that section where the last before the last procession, which they call janaza, would start from here after the body gets bathed and properly dressed. So this is called mortuary bath. If you zoom in, you will get to see some small water reservoirs. Multiple of them are there inside. So that's how they used to get the ritualistic bath as per their belief in the Shia Islamic faith.
Did you know that the share of the Indian population over the age of 60 is projected to increase from 8% in 2015 to 19% in 2050? In fact, by the end of the century, it will go up to nearly 34% of the total population in the country. This is an inevitable and irreversible demographic reality, as improvements in health and medical care have led to increased longevity. The old age dependency in the population is gradually but consistently increasing, as there is a distinct demographic transition to increased lifespan and smaller families. Add to this the elderly's preference for aging in place. Migration of children due to professional requirements often sees the elderly living alone or only with the spouse. Through extensive research and personal interaction, we too found that the elder's own home is the strongest bond between them and their immediate socio-physical environment. However, the special needs of the elderly need to be addressed. Support Elders brings to the elderly a sustainable ecosystem by providing comprehensive support in the comfort of their own homes.
Daily evening calls, they are the ones. Any day I don't get a call from anybody. At least in the evening I do get the call from support elders. Somebody asks me, are you well? Have you eaten? Have you taken your medicines? So I feel that there is somebody watching over me.
We at Support Elders work towards enhancing the quality of life of elders. With our well-entrenched technology, team of ex-servicemen and state-of-the-art alarm centers, we provide 24/7 medical emergency services and 360-degree comprehensive at-home support to elders.
There was a crisis with my husband. He had to be admitted into hospital. So I just dialed the number, and within 20 minutes, the gentleman who answered the phone, he said, "Do you need an ambulance?" I said, "Yes." So he arranged an ambulance, he brought it. Within 20 minutes he was here with the ambulance, and we were able to shift him to the hospital or whatever needed to be done. And then, so that was really very good. I was very thankful for that.
It's very peaceful to the mind. I really am always happy because I'm with you. I'm with Support Elders. That gives me a lot of peace in my mind.
We provide sophisticated, customized, technology-enabled solutions which include digital tracking and remote health monitoring, as well as regularly updating our members' kin or care sponsors.
The Support Elders Alarm Center team members spread across multiple cities are on high alert 24/7, as we are the first who receive information about members' medical emergencies. As soon as the alert button is pressed or we receive a call, we call them back to understand the whole situation, and simultaneously we track our caregiver nearest to the member's location.
Then, the Alarm Center team arranges for an ambulance if required, finds out the availability of beds in the member's preferred hospital, coordinates with all of them, and also updates the member's kin.
In case of emergency, I know someone is waiting for my call. So that feeling is very good.
All the ladies who stay alone, even not alone with husbands even, they should take this Support Elders membership, and they will definitely have better time as I am having.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम प्रदीप कुमार सिंह है। मैं भारतीय सेना में 18 साल नौकरी करके रिटायर्ड हुआ। वहाँ से नौकरी छोड़ने के बाद मैंने सपोर्ट एल्डर ज्वाइन किया। हमारा काम यहाँ पे सपोर्ट एल्डर में है कि हमारे जो सीनियर सिटीजन्स हैं, जो हमारे एल्डर्स हैं, उन्हें सपोर्ट देना, मेडिकल इमरजेंसी में काम देना।
We could rely on him. We could rely on the support elders. That helped us a lot in my husband's getting the surgery done. He came, he took him at about 7 o'clock, and it took about the whole day. Getting the dates, then the admission, taking him. Mr. Sinha from the support elders, he made sure that he never faced any inconvenience, and for that entire duration. That was a big help for us.
Social interaction and being connected is essential for mental well-being and cognitive fitness. So, we facilitate creative, cultural and educational pursuits to encourage our members to chase their cherished dreams, discover new passions, or just socialize and interact with others. These promote positive aging and help to keep dementia and loneliness and even depression at bay.
My parents are members of your extended family since last year. In the couple of instances where my father had to be hospitalized, we received extremely professional, prompt and very touching services from your team, and we are very grateful for that.
My name is Amit Kumar Datta. I joined Support Elders after completion of 16 years of service in Indian Army. The dedication and disciplined life of Indian Army helped me a lot to serve our elderly members. My enthusiasm, my spirit helped me a lot in several cases where I have to reach on time and save them.
I did not visit bank, ECHS, post office, even the mall. I never went out of the house. I stayed at home and they brought everything for me.
during this pandemic, when we are asked not to go out, and at the same time we need many things like ration, etc. So then she suggested that why don't you ask our support elders staff. I said normally they are not supposed to do these things, they are supposed to do medical things, but how can I ask them to buy groceries and all? But when I approached them, it was complied with, and we are practically very cozy with that arrangement, that whenever we required something, we said beforehand that this is the thing, tomorrow we may require. Even like milk, we got it. My son's in-laws are in Hyderabad. They have made them members from the USA itself.
We provide professional care with empathy and compassion. Serving elders since 2014, Support Elders is a trustworthy and reliable platform with a proven track record of consistent delivery and thoughtful service.
We will be going on a long journey. We will be going up the hillocks of this fort. So these are the different sites of importance that I will be showing you. Akalla Madalla offices, Amada Kingdom, Hospital, Golconda Fort Temple, Darbar Hall, Taramati Mosque, Siddharthana and Palace Complex. So all these we will be covering. We are getting onto the journey, which is effectively a palace tour. Oh, sorry, fort tour. Extremely difficult. Very, very difficult to lift it. But this used to be the entry criteria. The screening test for many of the candidates who would come to join the soldiers, the army of the king. So this is a minimum passing criteria for the next steps. So of course I cannot lift, but this is how they used to screen. That's how it's said. Also there is a different belief that there used to be more such big blocks. They would also use for measuring big amount of granary or other or the vegetables, etc. for the fort. So I had different versions from different guides. I'm sharing both with you. So now we come inside this series of office windows that you can see. This is the extension of the Prime Minister's Akanna Madanna's office, which is at the end of this series of offices where from the government services used to be rendered. So if we walk this way, we will find some big offices of the big officers or the ministers. So this is called Akanna Madanna's office inside, and these are their smaller office windows for the common people to access the government services that used to get. Let's go towards the Akanna Madanna's actual office. So this is the entrance of the Akanna Madanna office. As you can see, there are huge office rooms for the topmost government officer, Prime Minister. There are two duo, Akanna Madanna, both were Hindus. Because of their intellect and their skills. The leader, the king, who is Islamic king, used to trust these Hindu Pandits, Akanna Madanna Pandits office, through which they used to run the statecraft. So these are the big offices of those prime ministers. Some interesting architectural things I would like to mention here. You can see the arrangement for some archives here. So all the files and the documents could have been kept here. More importantly, you should also watch, there are some ducts for the ventilation that you can see in every junction of these walls. In addition to that, I would like to show in the office, you see, there are 4 pieces of stone in 4 corners, each having a hole inside. So they would be putting some threads through these holes and create curtain to make it look like a completely covered, visually segregated from other offices, so that they can have their privacy. So this is a structure we find in many places in this fort. They have used it in different purposes in this place to arrange for curtains for the privacy of the Prime Minister's office. This place is called Naginabad. It used to be a beautifully decorated garden. That's why it's called Naginabad. Nagina means precious. So and Bad means a garden. So this used to be a very precious garden. Also there used to be some events where precious gems and stones used to be brought here as exhibition from sale. And the royal families from all over the world used to visit this place and meet for those diamonds. By the way, Golconda had a very famous and great diamond mines. In fact, the Kohinoor diamond was mined from Golconda's mines. So this is the Naginabad. This is the royal viewers side of the Naginabad. This is also a relaxing place for the royalty, the kings and the queens. So there you can see again there are 2 stones with holes in the middle. So here they could hang a jhula and enjoy the beauty of this Naginabad. There are more such arrangements, not only one. It's a series of them. And you can see there is a lower level here where they used to fill this with water, so that one side being water, the breeze that would come here used to make it very comfortable, very convenient for the kings and the queens who would enjoy the afternoon and evening beside Naginabad. One more thing is also there is a legend in about Naginabad. On the last day when this ruler, this dynasty fell to Aurangzeb's army's attack, their chief of army was Mr. Abdul Razak Lari. Was a valiant fighter. He fought till the last breath and finally fell down here somewhere in Naginabad. It is said in the legend that when he fell down, he had innumerable na-gina or unginat wounds on his body. So innumerable number of wounds on his body when he fell down. That's why also they call it na-gina bag, with a respect for that person, Abdul Razak Lari. So we started from that place. the clapping portico, and from here, if you go little to the left, you will see that mortuary bath which I showed you. So from there is a hidden path along the wall of the fort which ends at this gate. Here is a gate. There used to be a gate, exit gate, which is now not being used. So from here they would exit with the janaza, and then they would go to that place. You can see some domes. Just before the high-rise building, do you see a dome? Similarly, to its left, you will find two other big domes. There are more domes, total 7 of them. All are royal family members, kings of different generations, or their mother, daughter, like that, 7 of them. They have they are buried there. So this is how their dead body used to be taken from the fort to the burial ground. So these tombs are called Qutub Shahi tombs. The dynasty of this royal family, it used to be called Qutub Shahi dynasty. Now we will come to show you the water management system or the water supply system for the fort. You can see this big artificial reservoir were created by the kings to store the water. So there used to be big lakes. There are still those big lakes, Osman Sagar and others this side, which you cannot see from here. So water would be taken from there, would come from there and will be stored over here. This is the first water storage of the fort. Then they had step-by-step mechanism of cooling this water from this reservoir to the one which is above our head, a little higher altitude, where you can see those people working. Behind that stone wall, there is a water reservoir, and if we go up the hill, we will see that even beyond that, far higher, there is a third water reservoir. That's the highest one. From there, the supply of the water to the royal family and the rest of the 4 different points, water used to be supplied through pipelines. That's a very interesting thing again. They used to have pipelines in the decades of 1500 to 1700 also. So you can see some of the reminiscences of the pipelines through the wall, and you can see there are certain broken pieces falling here and there. If you watch, the pipeline is covered all 4 sides by stones. So they would make the shape by probably burning the clay, and then around that they would put cementing material and cover from all 4 sides with granite stone. So no possibility of those pipes getting broken. So this is how they utilized pipe those days, and even both for the taking the water from here to the upward reservoir, and then from the topmost reservoir the supply line all across the fort, the core part of the fort where the kings and queens used to live, and the other parts water supply would happen. You can see this is the next level, higher level water reservoir, smaller in size but at a higher altitude. So they would be using some mechanical arrangement of camel wheel like thing to bring the water from the lower level to this level. So this is the highest altitude, the topmost water reservoir. You can see it is in the back side of this wall. We'll talk about this wall a little while, just a minute later. Here you can see the topmost water reservoir. From here the water used to get supplied to the northeast section of the fort. As you can see, this reservoir is very well protected from all different directions with high-rise walls, and especially of the four sides. If you look at our left-hand side, the wall is much higher. This wall is much higher. This is at that side of that side of the reservoir, which is having the nearest boundary of the fort, as you can see. So that's why they made this wall so high, so that if anyone having lot of strength shoots an arrow with poison, that cannot fall in this reservoir. The height of the wall is made such that if an arrow crosses this wall, it will go beyond the reservoir. It cannot fall on the reservoir. And the structure of the wall also you need to see. There are no concrete, nothing. So it is much wider at the base and gradually tapers narrower at the top. This is the place of Bhakti Ramdas. So the legend goes like this. His name is Golconda Pandit. So Golconda Pandit was a nephew of Akanna Madanna, who were the chief ministers or prime ministers of the king. Golconda Pandit was made the district collector of the Bhadrachalam district. So when he collected the revenue tax, he utilized that money to build a temple of Sri Ram, whose he was a devotee. Because of his strong respect and love for his Lord Ram, he actually did take, the legend says so, take out the money, the tax money to build the temple. Hence the king punished him with an imprisonment in this prison which we have just seen. It's called Ramdas's prison. So after 12 years of serving the prison jail term, one day, the legend goes like this, one day the king saw a dream where two young boys came who had divine radiance behind their head. So king felt it's like a appearance of God. So next day he came and did release Bhakta Ramdas and named him Bhakta Ramdas because his devotion was really so true, is what the legend goes. Like that, the king trusted that devotion and freed him without asking for that money to be paid back or asking him to serve the jail term further. So that's the legend of Bhakta Ramdas. The thing is that he was so devoted to the Sri Rama, his Lord, that Bhakta Ramdas, while he is in the prison for those 12 years, he took some pieces of stone and did make stone carving on the wall, which you have seen. Even today, people come and worship those emblems of Rama, Sita, Hanuman, and all those that he had did the carving on the stone wall. These are all granite walls. Just imagine the kind of effort and devotion needed to do it when he was serving the jail term here as a prisoner. Now see this rock formation. Natural rock formation is billions of year old granites, and see the engineering they had 500 years back. The stone pieces are matched against other pieces so that they can rest on each other almost or without any cementing material in between. And most interestingly, in such carved surface also, the stones are holding for hundreds of years without much of cementing material. Think about the engineering skill that they really put in place. This is another interesting thing. I was told, I didn't check it scientifically though. This is how they used to break big pieces of rock. So with iron long nail, they will make this kind of holes, small holes only, and in that they will plant some trees like the people tree, and the root of that will gradually penetrate, and it takes years, but after a year or after a few years, I don't know how long it is to take, this stone will split into two because it loses its strength when the roots go inside. This is how they used to break granite those days. This is a royal granary, or the granary for the fort. They used to keep all the grains here. So this was made for that purpose. So this is the Mahankali temple. This is situated at this place before this Qutub Shahi dynasty rulers occupied this fort as their owner. So this is coming from the Kakatiya rulers who used to own this fort before them. And this temple, very important to note here that this temple was respected and kept at that place without causing any harm to it. Yes, there were mosques also built, but not by breaking this. But they did build the Ibrahim Mosque here, but the new rulers, but they did respect the sensitivity and the religious faith followed by their previous ruler also, and their own subjects who used to have faith in a different religion. Till date, this temple is a very functional and active temple. Every year, the local Bonalu festival of this place starts from this very temple. Very active and very highly respected temple of the localites. And if you move that side, you will see the Ibrahim Mosque, which is after the name of one of the rulers, Ibrahim Quli Qutub Shah. is the Baradari complex, the topmost part, not only this fort, but the highest altitude point of the Twin City area also. So from here you can see a big panoramic view from the top of this building. This Baradari complex has 2 stories and there is an open terrace. So what you can see from here is the Diwane arm. Here common people would come for the royal audience. The king and the queen would sit inside at an elevated level. I'll show you when we go inside. And then at the top of this we have Diwane Khas. So very interesting structure, and you will find there are a lot of wooden beams that are surviving for 500 plus years without any kind of erosion. So the structure depends is stone mortar of those days, and also some strong wooden beams, which will show you from close quarters when we go inside. So this is the courtyard where the common people will wait to come to the Diwane arm. We are standing somewhere in the middle open deck from where the commoners should be called to come up these stairs and then meet the king who would be sitting at that elevated level, as you can see now. Very interestingly, those days even queen would also listen to the audience, and you can see in the left hand side there is another window. Common man will not be able to see that window because of the pillar, but they can hear them out, and the ladies, the queens, could also give their suggestions to the king when they make the decision. These are the wooden blocks that I was mentioning, surviving for 500 plus years without any erosion. And the structure to a good extent depends on these wooden blocks. Is another interesting thing here. Charminar can be seen from here straight some 11 kilometers away from here. Of course it will not come in camera, but straight line we can see Charminar's pillars. So these steps leads to the Diwane Khas. There is an open deck also adjacent to the Diwane Khas. So we are reaching to the highest altitude point of Hyderabad area. Welcome to Diwane Khas. This is the place, Diwane Khas. So this is the open courtyard. You can see whole of the city from here, as I told. This is the highest point of the Twin City. And this is the area where the royalty would sit, and take part in the audience. This is the audience. We are at the topmost balcony of Golconda Fort, and this is the highest point. From here you can see the entire city, but more importantly what we want to show you is there are two big medieval villas made on top of two hillocks. Far off from here, maybe around 2-3 kilometers aerial distance, you can see a pink color villa, and there is another at the top of another hillock. To my right hand side, you can see another grey one. So these are the two villas made for two courtesans and great artists, performing artists of singing, dancing. Their names were Taramati and Premavati. They were the royal artisans for the king, and the king made those villas for them. It is said that at its roof of this structure, king and queen would sit in the late afternoon, evening, and they will perform from there. They will sing songs that will come through the air, through the wind, and the royal couple would enjoy that music. That is one of the legends that we do here. Place where king used to come for the audience of the Diwali arm. We showed you the outside courtyard where the performers would wait. From that place, open deck, their names would be called, and then they will come up here and they will interact with the king. King would be sitting here and the subjects would be there for the audience of Diwali arm. As I told earlier, if we walk through this corridor, we will go to the place where the queen could sit and listen to the Diwali arms, whatever the audience, whatever the situation, queen could hear from here. But you can see from her chair, the person who is talking to the king is absolutely not visible. But from here the king is visible. So the queen could also share her suggestions and opinion with the king so that he can make a more wiser decision. Now we are standing inside Rani Mahal, and you can listen to the reverberation of my voice because I am standing in the middle of another diamond cut area. So this is a place from where they allow someone has come to visit the king. So here are the ground. It will be reverberate. This gives the sound energy to be communicated to the inside of the place where the king and queen used to live. If you come a little closer, this is very interesting. If you see from here, you don't see something like a just straight wall, but actually there is a window which is just behind the arch. And now you see, there is no reverberation of my sound because I have come out of the diamond cut area. Here you see, two windows are there, one for the king and the next one for the queen, which is less visible. It is made in a way that this new visitor from here cannot see the king or cannot throw a knife or attack the king any which way. But king can see the person's legs and probably the body and give the go ahead whether the person should be allowed to come inside or not. There is one more thing about the sound engineering that we would like to show you. You can see here, this diamond shape of the construction is like that. If you do say something very softly, very softly here, from the other side, someone can listen to the whispering across the hall. So that is also helpful. Cover this, assume we got the approval and we are approaching, entering Rani Mahal core area where the kings and queens used to live. There is a straight route, straight path, but let's take a little roundabout so that we can see the corridors a little better. As we enter this Queen's Courtyard, Rani Mahal, you see everywhere the rooms are made of that diamond cut. So here the wall corner, which can be conveyed to the other one. Extremely interesting thing to notice is the pipeline. So they used some mechanism to give the pipe shape and then cover it with mortar and then outside that cover it with stones. So bigger pipes used to be like that. This is a supply pipeline coming to the Rani Mahal, which is a Queen's area. So this is how water supply used to happen even 500 years back. So I am entering the central. I'm entering the Rani Mahal's core area. This is the Rani Mahal central courtyard. In this Rani Mahal, as you can see, there are exquisite wall decorations, that some reminiscences you can see there. And here you can see take a look, 360-degree view. In the center of the courtyard there is a water fountain also. So from government side, every evening there is a sound and light show which takes place over here. I mean, the visitors sit here to watch the sound and light show, and different parts of the fort, different lights are shown and the different stories are narrated by very famous artists like Amitabh Bachchan, Jagjit Singh Song, etc. It's an amazing experience, the sound and light show that one can watch here in the evening. That happens only after the darkness sets in the evening. So this side They used to keep the horses and elephants for the royal use. And also the main block inside that you can see up to the third floor, there is something called Aslakhana or armory, where all the guns and the iron bombs and the ammunitions used to be kept. Some of that we can find even now. Let's see if we can find that. So here, earlier there used to be a big rifle. You can see the rifle pipes on the left hand side, but the entire rifle I'm not seeing. There used to be one which was like really long, and then you can see inside there are some other ammunitions. There are some stone balls, iron balls that they could throw from the top of the fort wall to deter the enemies.
Thank you ever so much for spending your time with us. We hope you have enjoyed watching the program. Before we say bye-bye, we have a little request. Please spend a second to click on the subscribe button. No, this is not a financial subscription. It only means that you have seen and liked the program and subscribing to this channel so that you can watch many more such programs that we intend to bring to you. Thank you once again.